Hi, thank you for being here. My name is Caitlin Michelle, and let's talk life and esoterics. So, right off the bat, I have some news. I am pregnant. So, in case you have been waiting for this next episode, it's been close to a month and a half, 2 months since the last episode I put out, and I wasn't expecting to be gone. Or maybe I should have. I didn't though. So sorry for no warning. I get very sick when I'm pregnant. I have a condition called hyperemesis gravidarum, and that translates to excessive vomiting. It was very bad my first pregnancy. I vomited every single day of the entire pregnancy and even in labor. This pregnancy, I had a very rough first trimester. However, I think comparatively to my first pregnancy, it's not as rough. If, throwing up 10 to 14 times a day is considered not as rough. However, I'm now in the second trimester, and unlike my first time around, I am feeling a little bit of a reprieve. And so fortunately, I don't think, knock on wood, I don't think I'm going to be very sick the entire pregnancy this time. So here I am, I'm back. Of course, being pregnant and being that sick was the cherry on top of a very difficult last 2 months. There was a lot of stuff that came to the surface. And just to put this in numerological context, the month of March was a personal month of 9 for me. 9 is all about endings, especially when we're talking about time frames and time periods. When we're talking about numbers in terms of time, a lot of endings can happen, and it's a clearing out of the old to make room for the new, and it's quite healthy. However, sometimes it can be very intense, and it was particularly intense for me this time around. We all experience our personal 9 months once, at least once, sometimes twice, every single year. And there are different factors that determine the level of intensity. And I suspect that there are only a very few people who would be interested in hearing me get into the details of all of that, the mechanizations and how it all works. If you are interested, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is hellolifeandesoterics@gmail.com. I love sharing what I know about numerology, but sometimes I have to be very cognizant of the platform and audience. So if you want me to dive into more detail, let me know. So anyway, it was a very intense month on many, many different levels. I also had a lot of work responsibilities just all at once. So that, and then at the same time, we let our nannies go. There were a number of reasons why. And we didn't have a nanny. We didn't have anyone to help. All the while I'm throwing up 10 to 14 times a day. Sometimes literally not being able to stand and having to crawl down the stairs, and watching our toddler. So it was very hard. And then some things came up with the court case I've referred to before. I'm still not at liberty to share. Maybe by the end of the year I will be. And of course, we're still displaced. We're not in our home. We're in a temporary place. And it's very uncomfortable not to really know where things are and have that sense of stability. We have, what is it? 5 times since our son has been born, less than 2 years ago, we have moved. Or it will be 5 with this next move into a new home, which is taking a very long time to get to. But that's a lot of moving. I'm sick and tired of moving. I don't like being displaced. And with what my husband and I do within real estate, it takes up all hours, and we don't really get a break. We don't really get a weekend. So that being said, having help is really important, and we didn't have help. And then there's some clearing out of specific relationships. And it was very curious that each of the relationships that were cleared out were people that I had previously considered, quote unquote, spiritual, but there were a lot of realizations that I've had, and some very valuable lessons. And it has really shown me who I'm willing to allow into my life and around my family, and who I'm not. So it's definitely been a lesson in terms of boundaries, and realizing that not everybody has respect. And it's not just about respect. There are many factors. So all of that being said, I pulled a card before getting on here. And if this is the first episode that you're listening to, maybe this isn't really the best first episode for you to tune into, but I'm very happy that you're here. And please feel free to check out some of my previous content. But if this is your first time, when I pull a card, I pull oracle cards. I tap into the energy of everyone who is listening at any time. And the intention is that whatever card I pull is going to apply to anyone listening. And again, at any time. So I pulled this card from the White Light Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild. And what I pulled was just so apropos. So it's the Sacred Scar card, which is also numbered 11, which is, to me, the number of spiritual pain. Of course, every number has 2 sides to the spectrum, but the most difficult side is spiritual pain. So anyway, Sacred Scar, let's read from the guidebook. Your inner and outer scars are marks of your soul's courage. They are signs of strength and survival, of your willingness to be alive. And the Sacred Scar speaks of that which once caused pain being transformed into higher knowledge and inner power. Trauma shall be transformed through spiritual initiation, leading you from woundedness to wisdom. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You can trust your healing process and in the hidden higher purpose behind things happening as they do. You are strong, and you shall flourish on all levels. And what I really like about this guidebook is that's the opening paragraph, kind of the snippet, but there are a couple of pages included for every card, and it just goes into the meaning even more. I will just skim the next pages, so I won't be reading everything, but here's my go at it. Some experiences are hard to weather, even when our intention is to trust. Going through a challenging time is likely to give rise to suffering. Consider the mother eagle raising her precious eaglets in the sanctuary of a meticulously padded and fiercely defended nest. They know safety and comfort until one day The mother who provided unceasing nurturance abruptly pushes them out of the nest and into the air. She knows this is how they will learn that they can fly. You don't have to enjoy the process of growth, but you can always trust it has your best interests at heart. However, do not confuse negative, especially traumatic experiences as something Spirit has inflicted upon you. Spirit would love your growth to happen in the most joyful and peaceful ways possible. As your relationship to Spirit heals and strengthens, this can be the way you grow more often than not. However, Spirit also knows that sometimes we are to move through intense experiences before we can gain access to the light. Those experiences can teach us things only those who have truly suffered and brought their suffering to consciousness and healing can know. The lessons learned include compassion, wisdom, strength and fearlessness, faith in Spirit and in humanity, and the recognition of the challenges of awakening whilst having trust in the ultimate power of the light. Such a soul becomes one truly badass and divine human being, a powerful healer and a light bearer in this world. And there's more to it as well. But I think that was the bulk of the message. And I truly hope that as you're listening, that resonates and whatever phase you are in your life, whatever experiences you have gone through or are going through. And I'm speaking to myself as well. I truly hope that these scars can be seen as sacred and transformed. So I feel like we need to take a deep breath. So I'll just take a deep breath here. All right. So I think I'm going to leave this episode there. I know I haven't spoken too much about the esoteric side of things. To be quite honest, I've had a lot of trouble figuring out exactly how I would approach this first episode back. And I needed to also make sure I was in the right mindset because, sometimes these circumstances in our lives that just all bubble up at once, sometimes they can spill over in ways that we don't want them to. And I didn't want any negativity to be spilling over here on this platform. So my heart is going out to all of you, no matter what you're going through, whether you are going through wonderful times or hard times. It's all part of life. And life is a series of cycles. Lots of love. And I will be back, hopefully, next week. I won't make any promises yet. However, I intend to be back next week. I look forward to hearing from you if you want to share anything. I know I just realized I haven't shared a mystical experience or what I'm into right now. So I guess the regular part of this programming will resume with the next episode. I hope you have a really, really good week, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.